Hello everyone. I'm going to try and do this as quick as possible, and I'm really sorry. This is kind of late. We're less than a week from Thanksgiving. I'm going to do a real quick Thanksgiving card, and this is the one I'm going to work with you today. And this is the inside of it. So we're going to start with a chocolate chip piece of cardstock that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. So it's 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. We're also going to use a piece of old olive, and that is cut at 1 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I already embossed it using the Texture and Impression Flower Garden. I'm hoping this is all showing up really well. And you're going to cut you're going to punch all 4 corners using the Ticket Corner Punch when you're done with that. And you're also going to use 2 pieces of pumpkin pie cardstock, each cut at 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to use a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock cut at, I think this is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Yes. And then one also cut at 3 by 3 1/2. Yeah. Alright, and then you're going to have a piece of scrap paper, a Very Vanilla scrap paper, and you're going to use the 1 3/4 by 7/8 oval punch when you're done stamping your image down. You're going to use a piece of twine, or hemp twine. I'm using a yellow flower brad from the Brights collection flower brads. The ink I'm going to use is Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Pumpkin Pie. And the stamp sets I'm going to use are Faith in Nature. I'm using this thank you stamp from the Curly Cute stamp set. Okay. Also using the Happy Thanksgiving stamp from the Teeny Tiny Wishes stamp set. And I believe those are all the materials we're going to use right now. You'll also use some blender pens, which I got from Michael's, and sponges, and I'll show you everything you need to know. The first thing I did is take this piece, and I actually stamped the image down first. It's this one, and it's using Early Espresso. So when you stamp it down, that's what the image looks like. When you get your stamp sets, there are the rubber borders. It's rubber and foam. Pull apart the foam and the rubber, so you'll have 2 separate pieces, this foam piece and the rubber piece. And you're going to actually use this to do the shadow background. So you're going to shade in the image. We're just going to take some crumb cake and the sponge, and using the border, we're just going to sponge around, not all the way around, not into the center, but a decent amount of it. And you're going to want to hold the border down pretty good, because otherwise it'll shift and it'll kind of mess you up a little bit. So you're just going to kind of shade it in, make it look like sort of a shadow. Alright, so you shade it in. So then the next thing you're going to do is take your blending pens and the old olive and the pumpkin pie, and you're going to start blending them in real gently. So just get it nice and inked up. I don't know if you can see that, so just get it nice and inked up. And you're just going to want to work real gently at first on the leaf with the old olive. So go with and I mean really a really light, gentle hand until you find the right pressure for it. There we go. And again, ink it up real well. And just a real light hand at first until everything sorts itself out a little bit. It'll get a little lighter. There'll be a little less ink on the pen. And then you can go a little heavier. And you just want to color it in to your preferences. You can go darker, you can go lighter. I prefer it a little bit lighter. But then again, I prefer the crumb cake a little bit lighter too. I don't know why that came out the way it did. It's not bad, I just prefer it lighter. And leave a little bit of the center, just that nice cream color for the very vanilla. Okay. That's what this looks like. Real pretty. I'm going to work on the inside, and I used these two stamps for that. And I set it up on my block so that the way that I want it. So when I stamp the image down, it's like this. And actually, that's my view. Your view would be like this. Okay? And I already did that, again, using the Early Espresso. So I stamped the image down. Alright, so the next step is to take this piece and just distress it, just tear it. And because it's torn, it doesn't have to be perfect, so you don't have to do any kind of specific way. I do what feels right to me, what looks right to me. It looks like that, and you can take a distressing tool or your fingernail and just distress it a little bit more. Like that. I'm going to take my Ticket corner punch and punch out my corners. So what I did is I glued this piece down. Okay, and I also folded in this corner. When my husband saw it, he picked it up and he thought that he folded it in. So he was all worried that it was his fault that he'd done that, and he didn't. And, you know, I did it on purpose. So you may choose not to do that if you want to, because some people may be concerned that they just destroyed your card that you spent some time on making. I still like it that way. And if it tricks people, hey, more fun for me. I'm really not that evil. Alright, then just tie your hemp twine into a pretty bow. And you're going to take a punch, just a regular hole punch you can get from a crafting supply store. And you're going to make a hole close to the center of this ribbon, this bow. Take your brad and kind of open it just a little bit and poke it through so that it kind of holds the hemp down. And then poke it through and close it. Then you're going to take some dimensionals and you're going to pop your pear up on 2 dimensionals and kind of position it like that. Hope I'm in the camera. And the next step, take your little piece of scrap paper and the Curly Cute and your Old Olive and pumpkin pie, and I inked it up in the pumpkin pie real well, and then I rock and rolled it in the Old Olive. And when you punch this out with the 1 3/4 by 7/8 punch, it is not going to be perfect. It's going to cut a portion of the T and a portion of the U off, but I kind of liked that. And you may not. You may want to find a bigger punch, or you may want to make it square, or whatever you want to do. That's up to you. I like it like this. I'm going to take some sponges, and you're going to sponge the edges of the thank you that you just did. Okay. Then you're going to distress the edges of this. Okay, so once you've distressed it, it looks like this. And sponged it, go ahead and use a dimensional and attach it. Okay, I'm going to just put it like that. Alright, and then glue the orange, the pumpkin pie, down to the front of the chocolate chip. What I like to do with this piece is I like to tear it before I put the Happy Thanksgiving on. So, kind of go in the top, and I just kind of go out, and then I get a little close to the edge. I get nice and close. Okay. And then you're going to take the Happy Thanksgiving from the Teeny Tiny Wishes stamp set, and you're going to use the pumpkin pie and the Old Olive again, doing the same as you did with the thank you from the Curly Cute. Ink it up real well in the pumpkin pie, and then rock and roll it in the Old Olive. Pick a spot near the top and stamp it down. So then take the other piece of pumpkin pie and glue it to the inside. Then you're going to take glue or adhesive, whatever, and you're going to, I take it and I don't center it. I kind of do it off center so that it's, the Very Vanilla is a little off center. It's not lined up with the pumpkin pie. Most people probably won't even notice, but that's the way I like it. So I don't know if you can tell. Let's see. Alright, so then I guess you can tell a little bit better that it's not quite centered. And that's the card. I appreciate you taking the time to do this project with me today, and I hope you had fun. I hope you love it. I'm sorry it's so late in the season then that we're closing in on Thanksgiving, and I've only just worked with this one with you, but I hope you had fun. I had fun, and until next time, happy stamping!